Just like the previous entries in the series, No More Heroes 3 has tons and tons of references and Easter eggs to all sorts of forms of pop culture, music, video games, movies, and even Suda51 himself. These are just the ones I noticed, and I'm sure I'm missing a bunch, but yeah, there's a lot to go through, so let's get started. Suda51 has said Zelda is his favorite Nintendo series, so it makes sense that there are a few Zelda references in Part 3. Whenever you pick up a scorpion on the open fields, we have a reference to Link getting an item. I want to say this is mirroring Wind Waker's version specifically, or perhaps Skyward Sword. Whereas when you use the computer in Naomi's lab, this is a direct reference to the original NES Zelda. When you unlock the secret gacha, we have yet another get item reference. The death glove that Travis wears where Jean and Dr. Juvenile communicate from resembles Switch Joy-Cons. Travis even references one of the weaker enemies as a Goomba. One of the side battles you can do is in your mecha against a face and hands. Yes, it's a common trope, but the outer space battle like this reminds me a bit of Star Fox. Even the space peacock reminds me of an enemy from Star Fox 64. When you battle against Sonic Juice, there's an obvious reference to classic JRPGs like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, definitely referencing Final Fantasy as summons like Knights of the Round are directly mentioned, though they are not very useful. There's a whole argument between Travis and Sonic Juice about JRPGs,
because the characters look fucking...
I'm not sure what game they're referring to at this point because it's heavily censored. Most of the time when the game bleeps out something, it's obvious what they're talking about, like when Jean mentions that she's like Piccolo.
I'm right up there with Piccolo.
But here, I can't even piece it all together. Maybe they're talking about Dragon Quest, and well, it could be about Final Fantasy VII being compared to the remake. I'm not sure. Anyone have any ideas what's being referenced here? Call of Battle is obviously Call of Duty, pretty much the same font going on here. The character that refers to Travis as Grandpa looks very much like some sort of Raiden and Ninja combination from Metal Gear Solid. Travis's new battle mecha, RIP to the Glastonbury, is definitely giving off some Arsenal vibes from Daemon X Machina, but yeah, more about that one later on. The Deathman game is very much like an old school arcade game in terms of graphics, but even the compressed music has that twangy arcade sound. Akira is a pretty obvious reference here with Travis's bike, the way he does the famous slide in one of the early trailers, but you can also do it in-game, it's pretty sweet. Also, some art of the game is a direct parody of some poster art for Akira. Travis is a big fan of the in-game universe anime series, Pure White Lover Bizarre Jelly, which is a play on the magical girl genre, though they aren't heavily featured this time around. He still has a ton of the stuff in his bedroom referring to that series. When you visit Bad Girl in between boss battles, he will sometimes refer to anime. Though it's sort of censored, you can still make out some of them. Very random ones like Space Warrior Baldios. Lots of 70s and 80s anime, sports, and mecha anime in particular. Travis's transformation is based on Kamen Rider. I mean, he directly says henshin, the same phrase used in the show when characters transform. So that deranged art style during the Velvet Chair Girl's introduction.
What the hell is this?
Well, that was created by Pop Team Epic Studio, AC Boo.
I actually kind of like this stuff.
Gundam time. Oh boy. So yeah, Travis Strikes Again had a lot of Gundam references in the form of the battle chips. This time around, well, aside from Gundam being straight up name dropped, we also get references to Char's counterattack. The mech Travis uses has Gundam vibes to it. Travis shouting, "It isn't just for show."
Full armor isn't just for show.
Is also a direct reference to New Gundam in Char's counterattack.
This new Gundam isn't just for show!
And, well, the ending scene that plays after each boss battle is a parody of 70s anime, but I can't help but think of the original Gundam series. The font, the space imagery, but also Travis's pose here is just like RX-78. So the death chips in this game refer to Ultraman at times with likes of Mabius and Ginga, but also Gundam, Victory, Justice, Cosmos. Let's first talk about Takashi Miike. He has a big influence in the first two games. Suda does not hide his love for this man in this game. As a personal huge fan, I love the little podcast snippet between each chapter, between Travis and Bishop discussing various films by the Japanese director. Audition, Crow Zero, Zebra Man, Gozu, Ichi the Killer. Great stuff here. And, well, spoilers. Okay, ready? He shows up in the series again, even going as far as Travis pleading for him to make a No More Heroes movie. And gee, I can't help but wonder if this is Suda51's way of getting the man to direct the movie for him. I always thought the cleaners that appeared with Sylvia after each battle to clean up the bloody messes and whatnot was a direct reference to Ichi the Killer. You know how the character played by Shinya Tsukamoto and his buddies always work to clean up the crime scenes left by Ichi? Yeah, I don't know, it reminds me of that. But yeah, of course, the basic plot of No More Heroes 3 is basically E.T. Alien finding a friend and a little boy in a red hoodie, they have a secret hand symbol, men in black chasing after him, yeah, you get it. Rocky, I didn't think there would be so many references to that series, but Oma, the octopus that only ever says Adrian! Travis and the champ run down a beach, a scene taken straight from Rocky 3. Terminator has a few references, from music cues to the way Travis poses when transporting, and, well, Destroy Man. References to Alien, The Matrix, Independence Day, Black Rain. Spam emails all reference movies with numbers in the titles, but they are all replaced with 51. You know, Suda51. So yeah, instead of Ocean's 11, we get Ocean's 51. The music used during the alligator side job is an obvious homage to the Godzilla theme. And well, giant alligators coming out of water like this, that's obviously a reference to Godzilla. At one point, Sonic Juice is referred to Guan Yu, whereas Fu is referred to Liu Bei. These two, obviously, fans of Dynasty Warriors know who these two are. They're names of playable characters in the Shu faction. These games are based on the Romance of the Three Kingdom folklore from China. In the designated mission, sometimes you will get transported to a spacecraft, classic alien abduction theme with music sounding straight from X-Files. Okay, that kill screen, I can't help but feel like I've seen this in something else before. I'm thinking Super Hot or Ruiner. I can't really think of it though. It might be completely original. There's even a Netflix parody, The G, with the bass drop and the countdown to the next episode. When visiting Shinobu, Travis will talk about obscure Japanese pro wrestling moments, such as Scott Norton versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Suda51, a big fan of Japanese pro wrestling, like 80s and 90s New Japan, worked on a wrestling video game. It's one of the first titles he's worked on, and well, Travis does a lot of pro wrestling moves as well. The enemy that looks like some sort of Star Wars bounty hunter with antlers is named Leo Pardon. And here's a weird Easter egg. That's the same name as Spider-Man's mecha in the Japanese live-action TV show. Just like in the first game, sometimes the load screen will change into a contrasted color, which is a direct reference to one of Suda's favorite bands, The Smiths. The shirt Travis starts off with, Known Pleasures, is a parody of post-punk band's Joy Division's album art for Unknown Pleasures, and a popular song by Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart, was often referenced by Suda in the lead-up to 3's release in his tweets. This hoodie that you wear in-game was actually worn by the game's main composer, Nobuaki Kaneko, and actually his band's own music is used in-game, Red Orca, but instrumental versions of their songs. A lot of the music used in the game's soundtrack were handpicked by Kaneko, as he favored feeling and style over popularity. The taunt Travis does after making a payment, I guess it's a direct reference to Suda51 himself. He has done it, for example, at the Switch reveal presentation. Of course, a lot of fourth wall breaking, even directly referencing members of Grasshopper Entertainment.
Takumi, you there?
So yeah, if you haven't played Travis Strikes Again, you'll be thoroughly lost throughout this game's story, especially the climax. To start, Dr. Juvenile, the hologram woman in the Death Glove, has a major role in Travis Strikes Again. Daemon too, though if you haven't played Travis Strikes Again, you would just think, who are these random people? The sushi elements are taken straight from that game as well. Mr. Doppelganger, a serial killer featured in Travis Strikes Again, makes an appearance throughout 3. Bishop, Batgirl, all these characters that, well, you wondered what happened to them after 2, TSA explains how they all come back into the story. There's barely any connection to the first 2 games in this one. But that being said, Kimmy Love, also known as Kimmy Howell in Part 2, a teenaged fangirl who Travis tells to come find him again when she's older, well, yeah, there you go. Destroy Man appears in the first 2 games, first killed by Travis, and then he multiplied and was brought back to life to fight Shinobu in Part 2, and well, he's killed again, but now he's back. Destroy Man's bizarre appearance, kind of like Jack from Tekken. I was also getting some Ghost and Goblin vibes from him. Midori, one of the aliens you fight, is actually from a manga created by Suda51, Red, Blue, and Green, though she looks completely different here. Her boyfriend, NT Kamui, is from Travis Strikes Again, but also another Suda game, The Silver Case. He is perhaps one of Suda's more baffling characters, as every rendition of him seems to be completely different. Naomi is inexplicably gone from this game. Instead, a tree takes her spot. Someone on Reddit claims she's a tree now because she's, well, very literally a skill tree, which is kind of funny. The beginning of this game plays exactly how the first one started.
Fuckhead!
That whole haunted high school element, Suda also worked on the Japanese-only game Twilight Syndrome. It could be a callback to that, or even Fatal Frame 4, as Grasshopper did co-work on that game. Time for some spoilers, so be warned. Obviously Henry returns, but it's the deranged version we saw in Travis Strikes Again. It's never explained why he's the way he is now, and I kind of don't like that. I did mention earlier how I thought Travis's mech looked a whole lot like an arsenal from Daemon X Machina, but at the end of the game, he literally pilots an arsenal from Daemon X Machina, complete with name-dropping the game and including battle music from it. This had to be my favorite Easter egg because I'm just a huge fan of that game. And yes, I knew Marvelous published both, but I had no idea that a direct reference to that game would actually be in this one. But then we get another Gundam reference as colorful butterfly wings sprout from the arsenal to deliver the final blow to Daemon's robot, just like Turne Gundam. Perhaps being a bit tongue-in-cheek, I doubt he's actually being spiteful, but Travis is now brought to Smash Brothers, as the final battle with Daemon plays just like a game of Smash Brothers, complete with that game finish. Daemon's true form looks very much like an alien from They Live, and we have yet again another obscure Gundam reference. When Daemon says, "Not even my father hit me," Amuro says the same thing to Bright.
You hit me! Not even my dad has ever hit me!
Well, there you go. Those are all the references and Easter eggs I could find and think of. So if I'm missing any, let me know.